Cowboys 49ers. There's a lot of injury concerns on both sides. Let's bring Adam Schefter in right now. What's going on with Micah Parsons?
Laura, he didn't practice yesterday, which is not a good sign for his availability, especially considering that the Dallas Cowboys are coming off a bye week. Clearly, he's not fully recovered from that high ankle sprain that he suffered in that Thursday night game against the New York Giants. We'll see if he can get some practice time in the remainder of the week, but his status at the very best is up in the air for Sunday night in a game where Dallas defense desperately needs its best defensive player. As for the 49ers, some injury woes of their own. Deebo Samuel hospitalized this week with a mild case of the pneumonia. He's been released from the hospital. Kyle Shanahan has said that Samuel will have a chance to play on Sunday night. They'll continue tracking him during the week of practice to see if he can get out there in a week that they will have to get used to being without their other wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. And Samuel is not the only Niner trying to make it back for Sunday night. George Kittle dealing with a sprained foot, and his status is up in the air. The 49ers have said they consider Kittle to be day-to-day. It is a big game. We'll see if he can make it past that foot injury to be out there Sunday night. But both teams look to potentially be a little bit shorthanded in a game that both sides have to have. Cowboys 49ers should be a fun one Sunday night.
Yeah, it just adds to the drama, Adam, to your point. Christian McCaffrey, you've told us earlier this week, maybe could come back after the bye week, but that's down the road. Let's talk a little bit more about this matchup. Dak Prescott has struggled significantly in the Cowboys' last 3 games against the 49ers, which includes 2 playoff losses. Among the teams he has faced multiple times over the last 5 seasons, his total QBR, touchdown to interception ratio, completion percentage, and yards per attempt against the Niners, they're all the worst. My goodness. Their last meeting was in week 5 of last season, where San Francisco beat Dallas 42-10, as we remember. To make matters worse, yesterday, owner Jerry Jones called out the poor play of the Dallas offense this season, and head coach Mike McCarthy spoke about the struggling unit moments ago.
It's something you take a really good look at. I mean, obviously the run game is very low, and the passing game. So you just break it down, first and second down. I think clearly that's where we got to be better at. The first and second down, and some of the things that we can definitely do better in that area. All these things about what we're not doing right is not an illustration of our football team. It definitely does not reflect the confidence and belief that we have. So, this is a very good team. It's tough to play out there in Sunday night football. So we're really looking forward to going and get this 4th win.
Marcus, what do you want to see from the Cowboys offense coming off a bye week with extra time to prepare against the Niners?
Yeah, I want to see it. Confidence and belief ain't going to get your ass a win or make you play better. You actually got to go do it. And this team with no run game, and you become one-dimensional against San Francisco, Bosa will have his way on these edges. This is the only example this year we have of Dallas having a run game to effectively impact a really good defense, as you see here against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and mitigate some of the pass rush. Because this is the issue that Dallas is in now. They were a team where they try to get leads and play ahead, and I've heard so many people say that, and then let the pass rush unleash, and they can kind of dominate teams in that way. They are no longer that. They have to be a multi-dimensional football team. They got to play slow and physical and rugged games in order to try to keep themselves in it until the 4th quarter and hopefully be able to make enough plays towards the end to win it. But if they can't run the ball and become one-dimensional, Nick Bosa will take over this game, and it'll probably result in some turnovers or some strip fumbles, and it'll be a blowout by San Francisco, even with their injuries.
There's an opportunity here to run the football because the San Francisco 49ers defense is vulnerable on the ground, particularly, and you really saw this with Kansas City, when you get them moving horizontally as opposed to north-south. In fact, on runs outside the tackles, the Niners are 5th worst in the entire NFL in EPA per play. And for Dallas, I think the challenge is, okay, how do you manufacture something? I thought, as you saw here, Kansas City has some success with Hardman on the end around. Something could be done similarly with Dallas. You've got so many speedy skill players. Put them in the backfield. Try to get those linebackers going side to side. They got to get something going on the ground because otherwise I think this offensive line is going to have a long day against that pass rush. And there is an opportunity here, as bad as this run game has looked.
That's the problem. There's an opportunity, but there's a team in the Dallas Cowboys who isn't put together
Right.
in a way where they could take advantage of it. We talked about this not only this week, but last week, the weeks before as hell. In the offseason, we wondered who would be the bell cow of this offense from a running game standpoint. And Mina is absolutely correct. You look at the way McCole Hardman was able to take advantage of the San Francisco 49ers on jet sweeps, one for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. You look at a guy like Kevontae Turbin. We've also seen CeeDee Lamb get touches from the backfield on tosses. All of those things should be in the Dallas Cowboy playbook this week versus the San Francisco 49ers. But it's the other side of it, too, when we talk about the pass game. There is no explosion. There is no diversity in who you could get the ball at to who can win one-on-ones. The San Francisco 49ers are a far cry from the defense that has continuously kept this team in the hunt to win NFC championships. But the Dallas Cowboys, who they've absolutely dominated, are a far cry from what they've been the last few years as well.
What specifically does he need to look out for in this game?
Yeah, so pass game, when they go into some crosser concepts, Dallas, you got to pay attention to San Francisco's pass-off coverage. And then there is a way to have some success against a very good defense. So pass-off coverage. Right now for the quarterback, it kind of looks like man coverage. Everybody looks like they're manned up man. So you think crossing concepts are going to be fantastic. The 49ers will pass things off responsibility-wise. Number one, starting with Travis Kelce. As Kelce goes on this shallow, you can see that corner is saying, hey, he's going to be yours. So essentially that backside defender is going to drive. Kelce crossing, he's going to drive. So this corner saying, hey, that guy, I'm passing him off to you. And then it goes to the crossing route from the other side. As this receiver comes, you're going to watch the corner fall off. So this defender saying, hey, now you have mine. It's like pizza. I take a piece, you take a piece.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't see it, and then almost interception. That's exactly what Dak Prescott almost got last week against the Detroit Lions. The second thing is you got to handle their overload front, meaning they'll take three guys away from Nick Bosa and single Nick Bosa up at the bottom of the screen. Now the challenge is, do you want to play Bosa one-on-one? Or do you want to go with Bosa 2-on-1? Now, if you go Bosa 2-on-1, which if I were the Cowboys, I would recommend, the challenge is this. You then go 2-on-2 in the middle of your pocket, and you will get a ton of what we call pick stunts, kind of what the Green Bay Packers did against the Houston Texans this past week internally, and it creates chaos in the middle of your pocket. Now, it's another opportunity to see some of these pass-off coverages that they'll tie with their rushes. Okay, again, at the bottom of the screen, you're going to get this receiver running in route. Now, this safety is going to take it. So that corner is saying, hey, safety, your responsibility, I'm passing it off to you. Now, the alternative is, as you get this crosser, this receiver or this corner is going to then fall off. This guy's saying, hey, you're taking that responsibility now as well. So you get chaos in the pocket, fall off coverage, and all of a sudden no one to throw the football to. Now, how can you take advantage against this defense? I think there's one spot. Might sound crazy. Fred Warner's absolutely spectacular. You got to work the middle of the field, okay? You got to find a vacancy in the middle of the field, and what you do is you got to give Fred a ton of things to look at. I would send somebody down the middle of the field like Kansas City did. They take their tight end, send them down the middle of the field. Now, what you do is you got to put a lot in Fred Warner's vision, so he's seeing a bunch of different things underneath. You get him to stay a little bit lower, and then there's the ball down the middle of the field for a completion. Easier said than done, but Dak has to be very smart when he gets crossing routes of thinking the zone or the area might get vacated and it's going to get passed off to some of their teammates defensively. And then when you get a chance to throw the ball down the middle of the field, it'll be there. You just have to take advantage of it.
That was a pizza-sized vacancy there.
Pizza.
In the middle of the field.
You take mine, I take yours.
I mean, you're making me hungry. I'm going to give you a stat. You tell me if that trend continues on Sunday. So let's start in Atlanta, where Kirk Cousins and the Falcons travel to Tampa Bay on Sunday. Huge game. Cousins had a historic performance last time he faced the Buccaneers. In Week 5, he completed 42 passes for 509 yards, which were both franchise records for a single game. It was also the first 4-touchdown game by a Falcons quarterback in 3 years. RC, can Cousins have this level of success again versus the Bucs?
Well, 500 yards of success is historic, so maybe not that. But when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've been giving up passing yards like aunties give out pocket peppermints at church. So Kirk Cousins has an opportunity to have another positive night with Drake London and Kyle Pitts in between the numbers and Darnell Mooney working outside, winning one-on-ones. But don't forget about Bijan Robinson. We saw flashes of what that top 10 talent can be last week against the Seattle Seahawks, and I believe they have to utilize that on the outside edges as well to help Kirk Cousins get into the play-action pass. A good game, yes. 500? Nah, he ain't going back there, Laura.
Those aunties got to keep the breath fresh, though. All right, to Indy, where the Colts have won 4 of their last 6 since losing in Week 1 to the Texans. Indy heads to Houston on Sunday for the rematch, and this is an offense that has had more success with Joe Flacco under center than Anthony Richardson. With Richardson, Indy has averaged more yards per play, but it has been negated by him throwing 6 interceptions to just 3 touchdowns. Flacco has 7 touchdowns, just 1 interception. The team expected points added is 15 when he's the quarterback, compared to -6 with Richardson. Dan, will Richardson get the Colts offense going this week, or are there bigger problems for the young QB?
Well, he's got to improve mechanically and specifically with his feet. And I think that's the issue with the Colts right now is you're watching a young player that is unbelievably talented. No one loves his talent more than I do, and certainly him coming out of school. But the inconsistency of his feet, the wasted movement of his feet are continuously affecting his accuracy. I think the Colts, to win right now, are probably better off playing Joe Flacco. That being said, they have to play Anthony Richardson, both because he needs reps and he's unquestionably, at least in their eyes, their future franchise starting quarterback. Can they do both? Develop and win? That's the challenge.